JT Show.
What's going on, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Smash JT Show, my weekly episodic adventure discussing divisive issues in the video game industry and beyond sometimes. It airs every Friday, and like always, if you enjoy what I'm doing here, hit that like button, smash the subscribe, and let's just press start. For this episode, we're going to talk about cheat codes, but not just necessarily are they okay to use in games or are they not. As long as it's a single player experience, you can enjoy the game however you want to. But what's come up recently is some game companies have decided that it's okay to start charging for cheat codes, to insert them into games just like DLC, add-on content, and now cheat codes. Now, this has divided the audience quite a bit because there are a few different directions you can go with it. Capcom tried doing this back in 2011 to a lot of pissed off people coming at the Dead Rising series saying, hell no, we are not going to pay money, with a DLC called the Game Breaker Pack that enabled God mode and Big Head mode and a bunch of other things. And it was DLC, they were charging for it, and people were pissed off. They downvoted the hell out of that video. This is back in 2011, and now it's starting to rear its ugly head once again, and it's almost like people are a little bit more accepting of it now in 2019, with Resident Evil enabling all the cheat codes for the game for $5. Now, there is an argument to be made on both sides of this. I'm not a fan of it. I'm an old school gamer. When I game, I want the cheat codes. I want everything to be there just like it always was. There shouldn't be an extra charge for content that would have been there if they didn't have the technology to charge extra for it. I feel like it's very slimy, it's very sneaky, and I'm not a big fan of it. But as this show goes, I like to provide both sides to a story and give the most unbiased take to it as possible. Many people are arguing that it's not necessarily a terrible thing to have $5 to enable the cheat codes on a single player experience because you don't have to pay for it. You can unlock these cheats the normal way. They're still in the game. If you want to go about getting them, however you go about getting them in the game, you can still do that. You don't need to pay the money. It's for the people that want to skip ahead, that don't want to grind in the game, that don't want to go through all these steps to get them unlocked. They can just pay the $5 up front and have fun with the game that way. And to that I say, yeah, at least you can still get the cheat codes in it, but why should someone have to pay money to enable something that's already in the game? I guess that goes back to the original thing when Capcom had all this DLC disc locked on the games and you had to pay money in order to access it, which I had a major issue with. If the game has it on the disc and you buy it, you should be able to access whatever is on the disc. It's yours. That's kind of the problem when it comes to technology and these companies finding different ways to lock it behind closed gates and get as much money as possible from you. But then on the other side of that, people would say the cheat codes may have already been in the games in the past, back in the old school days, but you'd have no way of accessing them without calling a 900 number or spending money on a magazine in order to get them every month to find out what the cheat codes even were. Which is true. I guess in a way, magazines were the first form of add-on content, the first form of DLC that you could find because there was no internet, there was no way to find these codes previously. So if they were put into the game by the publisher, not using a third-party device like GameShark or Game Genie, if they were put in by the publisher, nobody had a way to find out what they were without either word of mouth or going to the store and buying something. There are definitely different angles to take on this, but the way I look at this, and I keep going back to it, is these cheat codes are in the game. Let people access them because that's what cheat codes are. It's to add fun to the game. Companies shouldn't be able to charge money so that you get more enjoyment out of the game if it's something that would have been there regardless anyways. Just because you have the technology to add it and make money off of it doesn't mean you should. And that's where I'm going to leave that topic, but like I said, very interested to hear where you stand on all of that, and if you think it's okay for companies to charge what they want for whatever they want because it's their product they're selling to you, or if you feel like the customer should be able to get what they're paying for and shouldn't be forced to pay extra for things that should have been included in the game in the first place. And from that, I want to move on to the Smashing Creator of the Week. And this is one of those channels that came up out of nowhere. It was just recommended in my feed, never heard of them before, and binge watched their entire channel. which is 2 videos. But still, they are both absolutely spectacular videos, and I guarantee you if you start watching them, you will not be able to stop. It's about 30 minutes between the 2 of them, and they are incredible. This guy, his name is Tech Rules. He goes over the modding scene with the DS and 3DS and how it all worked, how it got put together, how people were actually creating the homebrew scene for the 3DS, which I never really knew much about. His detail is so in-depth that it made me want to learn more about the modding scene on the 3DS, which is something that I never thought I'd be saying. But from that, he also made another video talking about the Spyro anti-piracy measures, and this was something that blew me away that I didn't even know about. And if I did know about it, I forgot about it because nobody ever covered it in such depth and detail like Tech Rules did. And it's one of those things that's beyond fascinating. You really need to watch it to know what I'm talking about.
Sorry, Spyro, but you seem to be playing a hacked version of this game. This may be an illegal copy. Since this copy has been modified, you may experience problems that would not occur on a legal copy.
But despite that weird message, the game would continue normally. Well, maybe normally isn't the best word to describe it, because weird things start to happen after finding this message.
He's got a lot of subscribers, he's growing very quickly, he's at 79,000 subscribers. Just yesterday he was at like 65,000, so he's going up really quickly in YouTube. So it's something that if you don't hear it from me, you'll hear about him sooner or later. He is absolutely fantastic. That's where I'm going to leave this week's episode. I want to say a special thank you again to all the Patreons that help support the channel on a monthly basis with their pledge. If you're interested in joining them for as little as $1 per month, I'll put a link to my Patreon right there. And if you haven't subscribed yet and you still like what I'm doing here, hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. And if you missed last week's episode, I'll put it right here somewhere. That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing.